Welcome back to Roundtail Restoration, everybody. My name's Chris. In my hand here, I have a permissive switch for my new overdrive, new to me, overdrive transmission. This permissive switch is bad, so when you press that little ball in, it should have a short so that you can shift it into overdrive, and this one's not working. But it is an original Lucas switch, stamped made in England on it, so because I'm a big fan of using original parts as much as I can, we're gonna see if we can restore this guy. So let's break into it and see what we find. Thanks for watching. Let's get it sorted. So here's that switch. It's cadmium coated, it looks like, but not real well made out of aluminum. The body is with a plastic top. So I'm leery to get too aggressive with cleaning it up, so I'm not gonna worry about cleaning it up right now. I don't wanna take that cadmium coating off as much as I can help it. But if you look closely, you can see the cap here. There's 3 spots where the metal is pressed in to capture that plastic piece. So obviously we need to get in there. So I'm just gonna use a flathead screwdriver, try to open those back out a little bit, and then hopefully release the grip on the plastic piece, and then pry that plastic piece off. All right, so hopefully that'll do it. Probably gonna have to work at it a little bit to get this off. It would spin on me there. If you could see, it was trying to fall over, and you rotate it around till you get the flat that's real close to that, and that way you can get some leverage. So let's see if we can't get into this thing here. Need a real thin screwdriver or something to get in there. Pretty brittle. I just snapped a little corner off. Got to be careful. All right, I'm going to keep playing with it here. I don't know if I've totally released these ears or not. But I do have another switch on its way, but it's back ordered from the Roadster factory. So, I mean, obviously I don't need this right now, but like I said, I like to have these original parts restored as much as possible if I can, because I think it's just better quality. So we'll play with this a little bit, see if I can't loosen this thing up. This thing's pretty stubborn. I just essentially kind of ran around the whole peripheral and just got a real thin screwdriver and just pried open that collar a little bit more. And now I'm just kind of working around, and it's finally starting to lift out, it appears. There is a little tab, yeah, there it goes. There is a little tab here, like a little lock tab, so the thing doesn't spin. All right, so there's the inside, and it looks like it might just be some corrosion is what's going to do this in. All right, so let's dig into this, get it cleaned up a little bit, see what it looks like on the inside. Here's the top of the switch we pulled out. These 2 tabs here, essentially, when I want the switch to operate, I want these 2 tabs to be electrically connected, and that sends a permissive signal to that solenoid to be able to operate the solenoid. So this breaks that contact when you put it in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, wherever you are. These switches in here shut. So if you flip this over, and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees or flip it over so you can see, maintain the orientation. You can see this copper ear and this copper ear, and that's all connected electrically to that tab. And then you've got this copper ear and this copper ear, and that's all electric connected to this tab. So what I want to be able to do is have a short between these 2 ears right here, and that'll allow the switch to actuate. So this is the cap that goes down in. That's what I was struggling to remove. Also in here is the spring that I didn't show you me pulling that out, but that's in there, and that just provides, bounce back, but that's all yucky and nasty, so we'll clean that up. Looking at the bottom here, here's that ball, that detent. Push that through, and this is just an empty case now. So this is a copper piece here. This is also spring-loaded. Spring down there for you. And then you can see these tabs. If you can look at it in relief, you can see these little ears stand up here. Now what is going to happen here is when that ball is detented and it pushes up, this piece is going to fit in like this. Yep, like this. Nope, I had it right. Going to fit in like this. Get my fat fingers out of the way. And as that ball pushes up, now the switch is upside down, but as that ball pushes up, you're going to have these little ears here connect those 2 sides, and you should get a short at this point. So what I'm going to do here real quick is see if I'm getting that short and try to make this electrically tested right now to see if I get it. Let's see what I get. So I got that ohm meter back there. You can see right now it's OL for overload, We'll get this guy in and I'll push it on and see if I get a short. All right, I don't know if you can hear the buzzing, but I definitely have a short. And it's not incredibly solid. Some of that's because of the way I'm handling it, I'm sure. There's a lot of corrosion on those carpet pieces and all that kind of stuff just from, over the years. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this now cleaned up, get the inside of this cavity cleaned up, put a little bit of dielectric grease in there maybe to try to help it keep it clean. And we'll see if we can't get this thing back together and refurbed. Got the pieces out of the ultrasonic sink. I just put them in with a little bit of water and Dawn, and I did have the water heated. I didn't want to use anything too aggressive like Purple Power or something just because of the plastic and all that. So now what I'm going to do is I've got my Dremel here with a nylon brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to clean this up and move on from there. I did take a red scouring pad, and it essentially took that cadmium right off, so I'm not going to be too worried about this. Yeah, the date stamp on this switch is 4 of 66, so that'll give me an idea, assuming this is original. That puts me in a date range for when this was made. Other one I have is the same exact, so definitely an original Lucas part here, definitely worth saving. So we'll go ahead and try to continue to clean it up. All right, so that cleaned up okay. There is a little, this is that plunger, there is a little rubber O-ring in here. You can see that right there, that little collar. So that's just to keep the weather out, I suppose. So I'm going to switch over to a wire brush for some of the stuff that was a little harder to reach, and then the metal, and then we'll be done with this. All right, so that's pretty much all cleaned up. I'm going to, I got it marred up a little bit on the inside here just from smacking it with the screwdriver and stuff. So I'm going to take some fine sandpaper and try to clean that up a little bit, and then we'll get to reassembly. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, we're going to do a little proof of concept, put this thing back together, make sure that it works. So you got to put this in a certain way. There's the little key slot cut out, which is a little notch there. So you got to put it in that it actually will seat. So essentially it's going to go like this with that partial circle melamine plate there in that orientation. And that'll allow that to go all the way in. So if that doesn't go all the way in, you're not in the right spot. And we'll turn our ohmmeter on here. Probably won't be able to see it. The battery's a little on its way here. Press the button. All right, less than an ohm. So yeah, right about an ohm or something like that. All right, so now that puppy works. So that's a wonderful thing. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate this O-ring a little bit in here just to allow for ease of motion. Get some dielectric grease in there, and we'll be all set. Just using gearbox oil for the lubricant for the O-ring. Not going to get all fancy with that. All right, can't forget to put that spring in there. All right, and then a little bit dielectric grease first, actually. Don't need a whole lot of this stuff. Pretty much just putting it in here for corrosion protection. All right, so now that's back together. Operates smoothly. So now what we'll do, we'll take it back over to the workbench and get it back over to the vise and get the tabs beat in and all that kind of stuff so that it's solid again. all I did there is run around the peripheral with a hammer just to try to snug everything up again. So now I'll go in and I'll actually smack those tabs in. See if I can come up with something better than a flathead screwdriver for it. And I got this old Robertson wrench. It's got a square head on it, which is what I'm looking for here. So try to hold it down with one hand. Smack that in with the other one. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. I think that's it's probably going to do it. So we'll check it electrically one more time just to be sure, and then we'll call this done and restored. All right, checks out electrically, all good. Probably good for another 60 years. So we'll use this one, and the spare that I have coming we'll put on the shelf. So thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.